What's up, everyone, and welcome to episode 270 of The Ball is Round. I'm Andy Coronado, and tonight I'm joined by my boys, Elias and Hari. Gentlemen, how are we doing?
We're fine. We're fine.
Can
Yeah,
we
thank
redo
you.
good,
the
Thank
man.
you,
Can we
Elias.
redo the
Thank you,
introduction
Elias.
because it was in the wrong order that we came in?
You're
So
such
if you
a
guys don't
diva,
mind.
man.
All
Oh
right.
my god.
So, guys, it is so freaking hot these days. I know we were complaining about it like it feels like yesterday we were complaining about how cold it was outside, but dude, it is hot. It is freaking hot everywhere we go. And on top of it all, right now the elevator in my building is not working, so I am forced to climb up 7 flight of stairs every single day. So this is me complaining. Yes, I'm taking this moment to complain about having to go up the stairs
And
instead
then
of
you're gonna
taking.
tell us. And then you're gonna tell us we don't have time. We don't have time anymore. Come
No,
on,
no,
faster, guys!
no,
Faster,
no,
guys! Faster,
exactly,
guys!
exactly, because I have to climb the stairs instead of going down
You
the
already
elevator.
climbed
It takes
them.
time.
You're chilling. You're done.
Yeah, no, I am not chilling. Anyways, we got a jam-packed show for you tonight. We're breaking down an action-filled week of soccer, diving into the latest from CF Montreal, Roses FC, FC Super du Québec, and Sis Saint Laurent. From the biggest storylines to standout performances, we got it covered tonight. How are you guys doing? It's been a soccer-filled week. I know you guys have been to a few games. I've been to a few games. And the World Cup is in the middle of all this, so we're watching that on our either on our phone or on the TV. But it just doesn't stop. It's soccer, soccer, soccer these past few weeks. Are you guys sick of it? Are you guys excited by it? Are you guys give me more? Give me more! I can't take it enough. I can't take. It's how you guys feeling?
It's the best,
Honestly,
man.
we had When we have a day where there's no World Cup, I'm like, oh my god, what am I supposed to do with my life now? You know. so
No, seriously.
And like
so
when we
yeah,
have a
it's gonna
day
be
where we only have one World Cup game, you tell me I'm supposed to wait until 3 o'clock?
exactly, and you're like,
Like just
and
wake
then
me up at 3 o'clock. Like what are we
and then it
doing?
finishes, and you're like, that's it.
I have
Like
to
we
wait
want more.
until 3 o'clock again tomorrow.
It's crazy.
And then after
It's
that,
crazy.
4 days. 4 days with no World Cup
Yeah,
after that.
I know. I know. I know.
Hey
I,
man,
Wake me up in 4 days. Put me in a coma and wake me
They
up in 4
can't. They
days.
can't do that to us. I don't think that's fair. That it's like so much games back to back. You're staying up till 2 a.m. just watching the craziest matchups, and then all of a sudden there's nothing.
it's done.
They can't do that to us. It's not fair. Either you spread it out more the games, or you just don't do it. It's not fair. You can't do
Can
that to
If
us.
anything, if
can
anything,
we?
I think they should congest it even more. I
Oh
want
yeah.
5 games a day. I don't want a single solitary thought outside of soccer to seep into my brain for
Yeah.
2 whole weeks. Make the whole World Cup 2 weeks. You have like 5 or 6 games a day. You start at 8 a.m. You finish at midnight.
I think
Sign me
Palais
up.
de Justice is gonna have to do extra hours and overtime if that happens for the amount of divorces
Yeah. Honestly,
it's
it's
gonna be
no.
crazy, man.
It's just because you know what's crazy
Make
to
it
me is that
happen.
some of these games are like last minute goals, last minute action, million
Yeah.
controversies. There's so many emotions going in your brain, and you're just like living. And then they're like, okay, but there's another game after this that might have the same thing. And you're like, what the hell? We got to do this again for another 2 hours. It's crazy, but they're talking about 64 teams, so we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, they're talking about it, and it's gonna be interesting. It's a lot of people are saying, "Oh, yeah, but why do you do qualifiers?" And if you put 64 teams, I agree that it's a lot, but at the same time, if you do 64 teams, the third team in groups will not qualify, so it's gonna be the top two of each group. So all the people that are saying, "Oh, yeah, the third." Is qualifying that you don't need to do much in the groups phase to qualify, that won't be an issue anymore. So I'm um, I'm a bit on the fence on this topic.
Look, I think it's kind of an interesting approach that they did. I think it could work, maybe, but at the same time, it might consist of more games and more like maybe terrible games because there were some really, really good games and really cool storylines in the World Cup. But there were also some very games that you were like, oh God, this is a World Cup game. It didn't feel like it. It
That
was like,
was
yeah,
Yeah, well, I mean, Brazil, Morocco was a stinker, but those are the two of the biggest clubs in the world, right?
yeah.
So I don't think the status of the team determines whether or not a game is good. You know,
no. I agree with Elias. Honestly, I agree with Elias. I
of
feel
them,
that yeah, you had like Cape Verde, gave us the best games, and there were the lowest ranked team. So like I don't know. I no, honestly, I didn't feel that there was too many games that were really poor. Maybe three or four, but the rest I enjoyed most of
yeah.
them.
P Dubs that gives us his opinion. He says 64 teams, bring it back to 32. I won't mean as much to just qualify. But yeah, I mean it's a hot topic, right?
Yeah, it is. No, I
It
like the
is
Look,
48 format. You
I
can't go
was
back from
skeptical
that.
about the jump to 48, but this every single part of this tournament has assuaded my concerns.
Yeah,
I think
same.
48 is the way to go. We got some fantastic storylines. We got some great countries who never would have been able to enjoy the World Cup without it. And I think that, in 3 years, in 4 years, same thing is going to happen. It may not necessarily be Cape Verde or may not necessarily be, Curacao or stuff like that. It may be other countries, but it'll be just as
Peru.
special. It'll be just as entertaining. Maybe it's Peru, maybe it's Greece, maybe it's Lebanon. Who knows, right?
Yeah,
And then we'll
Lebanon.
become even more insufferable in 4 years. But
Lebanon.
I mean,
Yeah,
hey,
right. Like that's gonna happen.
crazier things have happened. But no,
Let's
I agree. I
let
agree with
let's stick
I agree
to
with Patrick.
basketball. Let's stick to basketball. That's
I
all.
agree
That's
with
all we're
Patrick.
good at.
I don't know how 64 would work. Then it might be a bit too much. But we said the same thing about 48. So I
You
hope
know
they
what the
don't do
magical number
64.
is?
But
You know what the magical number is?
Zero,
no.
6, 7.
Six. I'm surprised Hadi got it instead of Elias. Anyways, before we
What? That's
That's
ageism.
no.
That's ageism.
I got it. I'm just not entertaining a 6-7 joke on this podcast.
dude, we need the clicks. Anyways, before we dive in,
Okay, that's strike one.
That's
I've
clickbait.
had it. No, that's
Clickbait.
strike one, man.
look, before we dive into the fun stuff, quick little message for y'all. If you like The Ball is Round, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notifications so you never miss an episode. It really helps the show grow. We've seen the subscriptions. We've seen that you guys have been following us on all social media, and we love it. We love the support, guys. I know you've been seeing the growth and on your own personal accounts or on the Ball is Round account. So thank you guys so much for supporting us. We love talking about CF Montreal, Rose FC, FC Super de Quebec, and anything else Canadian soccer. So guys, continue. We need we appreciate the growth, and we want to continue giving you guys the latest content, the latest takes, and the latest news. Because guys, Harry Elias and I, we are on site. We are on site, and we are trying to give you. We are not trying. We are giving you guys the inside scoops, the interviews. We're the ones that give the interviews first, right? So make sure to subscribe to all of our channels. All right, so let's start with the first topic of the day. We got Roses FC, who played Halifax yesterday and came out with their second win in a row, beating Halifax 1-0 on a late penalty by Chloe Minas. Pretty interesting game. All right, Elias, I guess we got the lineup coming up. So we have at the goalie, we had Anna Karpenko, we had Anne Valerie Seto in the back three, Lucy Capadonna, Megan Sauvé as the back three. Then we had Tanya Boychuk playing the wingback position again, Laurie Thibault, Charlotte Bibot in the middle, Haley Whitaker as the left wingback, Noémie Paquin, Elise Bennett, and Evelyn Badou on the top, on the front three. Okay, so what were your overall thoughts of the game, guys? Elias, I'll start with you. It's a late win with a penalty, like I mentioned by Chloe Minas. But did you feel that Roses dominated the game? What were your overall thoughts of the game?
I think they dominated. I think they controlled the game very well. I think they minimized, uh, any kind of threats. But look, I mean, game Halifax still plays a very similar kind of football, right? They've had Montreal's number basically for a year and a half now. Where even if Montreal does win, it's not an easy win. It's you scrape by with a single goal or a 1 goal game, stuff like that. So yeah, it was not a pretty win by any means, but games like this where you grab 3 points instead of one is ultimately what makes champions. Last season, I guarantee you they draw this game. Maybe they even lose this game, but I guarantee you they don't win this game. This year, though, even if they're not at their best, they find a way and they get 3 points. They will 3 points.
Yeah, that's well put. Hadi, what did you think overall of the Roses game?
I think it was a tough game, a very, very tough game. And they did control the game, but I feel that I don't think they were the better team in the first half. I felt that in the first half, they were most of the time, looking at the opponent, and they weren't able to produce anything. If I look at only the stats, I think they had 3 shots, none on target. Yes, they had a bit of possession and then they lost it, but it was very, very confusing. Like their play was very confusing. I'm not sure if in the middle of the pitch, the chemistry between the Bilbao and Thibaut is good enough for these kinds of games, but I feel that they should have done better in the first half. I like the adjustments of Rositolu in the second half. I think he made the right adjustments, and clearly Chloe Minas is the one that really transformed the penalty. But at the same time, like Elias said, it's the kind of games that when you're not a top team, you would surely lose. You would not draw, you would lose these games. And you know what? They didn't draw, they won the game. And that's usually what we say of a champion. A champion wins the games when they're not good enough. And this is exactly what the Roses did.
I agree. I agree with that, Ahadi, that they weren't good enough. I was actually surprised that they came off with a win. I do think that the penalty was fair, was a fair call. But Halifax, I felt, did dominate for a good portion of the game. They should have scored maybe more goals because they had more shots on goal, but they seem to be running circles around Roses FC's midfield and defenders. And Valerie Seto struggled again on the right side, and Tanya Boychuk struggled as well as the right wing back. When Lisa Pechersky came in along with Chloe Minas, it was a whole different game. A whole different game. And what Robert Rossitoyo actually told us at the end of the game, he said that Lisa Pechersky was supposed to go in as a 10, but she actually came to an agreement. They spoke with Tanya Boychuk and they changed on their own. And Robert said, I have no issues because sometimes the girls feels, something different. But that was their own thing that they went. And it ended up being well because Lisa Pechersky did change the game. Like you mentioned, Chloe Minas as well. But I was surprised, guys. It's the first time we see Chloe Minas come off the bench since she was signed last year. I don't remember last year the numbers if she started all the games. I don't think so. But it's the first time, at least this season, we see her come off the bench for Laurie Thibault. Were you guys surprised seeing Chloe Minas on the bench or not at all? Is this something that you guys would have expected to happen at some point? Hadi, I'll start with you.
At one point, Thibault is going to have her starts, right? So, at one point, you need to make sure that your rotation makes sense. And even someone as important as Chloe Minas at one point is going to sit on the bench because you need to make sure that all the girls have playing time. Because at one point, if Chloe Minas gets injured, if the other girl, Laurie Thibault in this case, doesn't have the match fitness in order to produce something or to really be good on the pitch, then unfortunately she's not going to be as good as if she played a few games as a starter. And yes, you can put her as a substitute, but that's not the same thing. You need to have the mental preparation that's needed of a starter. That's very important. That's why we do rotation in a team. That's why it's important that every member of your team gets a start. Every member of, usually you have 15, 16, 18 players that you play with most of the time. But of course you have, all the younger players. You're not expecting them to get starts, but all the others have to have starts in order to make sure that the team performs.
Elias, we saw.
You got to remember, she except for the game. I looked it up now. Except for the game against Calgary, this is like these last two games is the first time all season she hasn't played 90 minutes.
Yeah.
Mm.
Right? Like she's her fitness is excellent, but people need rest. Like eventually they need, especially because it's been a pretty hectic schedule recently, right? So I'm not going to read too much into it. If she doesn't start again next week against Calgary, then you can start, hypothesizing. But I just think this is squad management.
Yeah, and then speaking of squad management, because I'm trying to kind of understand, I asked Robert yesterday a question too, because I'm a little bit confused, but at the same time, he did say something very important yesterday. He said every player in this squad needs to play two positions. That's a requirement. But we're seeing a lot of players continuously playing out of position. So like Megan Sauvé as a left center back, we're seeing Tanya Boychuk playing as a right wing back. I'm not gonna say they're having their worst games. I think Megan Sauvé did a decent job, but I didn't like what Tanya Boychuk on the right wing back. As I mentioned earlier, the coach said that she decided she took it upon herself to tell Petrosky, "Hey, let me go up front and you stay in the wing back." And I just he's tinkering a lot with players playing in different positions. I spoke last week about not using Olivia Mbala in a natural position as a center back, instead of using a makeshift in Megan Sauvé. Are you guys comfortable with this tinkering of the lineup, this changing of position, or is there maybe, am I overthinking this? Maybe, what do you guys think?
I don't think Boychuk had a bad game. I mean, I did notice she looked more comfortable when she stepped up for sure. But again, I think it's just that she doesn't want to play right back. Genuinely,
Mm.
right? I mean, she's an offensive minded player. She loves getting at goal, and I think that you know maybe it caught her a little bit off guard that she has to play a completely different position. But I think honestly, so far, I haven't seen anyone play out of position and think to myself, "Oh, this is like not good,"
Okay.
or "Oh, this is a problem and they can't do it." Yeah, I mean, obviously, she doesn't have the comfort and maybe the experience, or even just like the automatism that someone who's played wingback for years has. But she'll probably learn it. She's obviously a team player. She's a team captain. I think she's more than willing to do what's necessary. But again, you have personal preferences. I think if she saw the opportunity to kind of get forward and have someone like Lisa Petrosky, who's shown that she's maybe a bit more comfortable at wingback, and they can make that switch, then Robert Rosatoy is also a man manager, and he's got to understand that if the players want it, sometimes you have to make concessions.
Yeah, and we talked to Roberto Rositoyo last time when we went, Elias and I, about Tanya Boychuk and her role as a right back. And, you know, I'm not going to say, he didn't say it exactly, but we were talking about it, Elias and me, afterwards. It doesn't look like she enjoys playing that position because it's not her position, which is completely understandable. But she's still here for the team and she still plays that position, which is what you want to see from your captain and what you want to see from your players. But at the same time, I don't think she likes it. So that, I think, doesn't help. But I'm honestly, I'm going to be super honest. For me, Tanya Boychuk was my top of the game.
Oh,
Yeah, the reason is,
let's get right into it. Go ahead.
yeah, sorry, I'm going to tell you why. First of all, the last game, she was really good against Vancouver. She was really, really good as a right wing back. And this game, too, yes, she didn't make, of course, we didn't win 5-1. So obviously, the impact is not the same. That's 100%. But I feel that she was very professional in a position that's not hers. I didn't see her really, miss a step or, making sure she made sure that defensively it made sense. She created a few things also. We saw her quite a few times, take the whole right flank and create something there. No, I feel that she had a very good game, and honestly, every offensive offensive attack, every attack used to come from the right side, right side from her. I didn't see much from the left side. Yes, we saw crosses of Whitaker, but most of the time it was from her side. For my flops, this is my top. For my flop, I, yeah, I feel bad saying this, but again, I feel that Laurie Thibault, yeah, she's not. It's not her position in the double pivot next to Bilbao. It's not her position. I
What's her
haven't seen
position then?
her
What's her
Because she
position? What does she do?
higher, man. I
the
don't
pro
know.
no, but like
I
I
don't
I don't
know.
think she can play higher up the field though.
No,
I don't
no,
know.
guys. Honestly,
Honestly,
I've asked her.
I didn't really like her game.
It's been a question, Hattie. It's been the $1 million question that I've asked around. I've talked to other people because maybe I'm the crazy one just seeing that, but I just don't know where Laurie Thibault fits. I don't understand what her position is,
Yeah, I
what
agree with
she's
you.
doing. I don't understand if it's a scheme thing. I don't understand if it's a player profile thing. I don't know what it is, but I don't understand where she fits in. But they continue playing her. They continue playing her. And anyway, sorry, I chimed in into a flop.
No, no, I agree with you. I agree with you 100%. And last but not least, you talked about Mbala. I really feel that Mbala's position is really exactly in the middle of the back three. And right now, Capadona
She's killing it.
is just killing it. So that's why she's not playing. But yeah, it doesn't look good for her future with the Roses. That's
No.
100%.
Lies?
Um, I'm torn between two. But we talked a bit about Chloe Minasan and the impact she made, so I'm not going to talk about her. I'm going to talk about Lucy Capadonna because she's had a bit of an up and down time the last couple weeks. This was a return to form. She handled everything, and when I say that the Roses manage the game well, it starts with her, right? Even the shots that ended up making it on target, I don't think Anna Karpenko was too concerned. And of course that's a collective effort. I think Anvar Riseto and Megan Sauvé had a good game. Nothing outstanding, but again, it's about mitigating danger. And I didn't love them in possession, but out of possession, I found that especially when you're getting hit back on the counter, which is going to happen when you play this system with our Brosatory system. I feel like they handled it well, but Lucy Capadonna was the bedrock of that. And so I'm happy to see Lucy Capadonna put in a shift like this because she was really excellent. And I think it was long overdue. And I think that, it's also a good boost in confidence too. This is the first time basically since like May of last year that she's going an extended time without playing next to Stephanie Hill. And I think that partnership has become incredibly solid, and not having a running mate like that does take some adjusting. But I still think that she is one of the best defenders in this league. And it's nice to see her put in a performance that's worthy of that moniker. I don't have anyone that really stuck out to me as like, oh, they had a bad game per se. I'm going to kind of build off of what Hattie said about Laurie Thibault because I do think she has a spot in this team. I do think that she has value, and I think specifically, I think that's why I gave her the flowers over her performance last game, is that specifically coming off the bench, her athleticism and her energy and her work rate really hits harder and is more apparent when she comes on at the 60th minute, the 70th minute, because it creates such a contrast. And I think that, when you have an established double pivot of Minas and Bilbao, having Laurie Thibault as a kind of break glass in case of emergency is okay. But the problem now is that you don't really have that much east to west because Chloe Minas is the one responsible really for switching the ball. And Laurie Thibault is a very north-south kind of player. And Charlotte Bilbao, when she gets the ball, is immediately looking to break lines.
Yeah.
So she's less concerned with the metronome aspect of it. And she's focused more on finding space in behind, stuff she's really good at. So the two of them together, I don't think are as complementary. And Charlotte Bilbao is immovable from the starting 11. So Laurie Thibault right now, I do think that she belongs in that deeper part of the midfield because I don't think she has the final touch for, playing higher up the field. But I think as a super sub, her alongside Felicia Roy and alongside Marbouchard, who I also think had a decent cameo when she came off the bench.
Yeah, I liked Bouchard. Yeah, 100%.
I think there is something there. Now it's just up to Robert Story to find a way to maybe extract it more consistently. Because again, her game against Vancouver was really solid when she came off the bench.
Yeah. Yeah.
So now it's just about how do I get this kind of performance from her on a regular basis, and how do I maybe have her be put in the right position that even if she's starting and she doesn't have this offset of I didn't just play now and I can kind of use my athleticism even more. How do I make sure that it doesn't look a little bit awkward?
Yeah. And look, for me, for my top and flop, honestly, for the top, I'm going to go ahead, because you guys mentioned it, but I'm going to go ahead and say it. I think the top of the roses was the substitutes that came on the game, because at the end of the day, in any soccer game, what are the substitutes supposed to do? What are the roles?
Change the game.
Change the game. And all the substitutes that came in on Sunday changed the game.
Yeah.
And that's what the roses needed. So I'm going to give the top to the subs, and the moment
all
they were
the
chosen,
subs,
all of them
all together.
Yeah.
You're
Just
nice,
bro. Yeah, I'm nice. But the flop, I'm surprised because honestly, Elias, you said we must have been watching two different games, because I didn't like on Valérie Seto's game. I've said it before, I feel like she's struggling a lot. I understand she's learning the position. It's a new position to her. But man, we're halfway through the season. I still see her getting run around a lot. And, a lot of attackers are beating her. Like she's quick to bite like into, coverages and have like players go behind her very often. And teams are starting to attack her side a lot more. Now, obviously, it doesn't help that you don't have a natural wing back on the right with Tanya Boychuk. It was different with Lisa Petersky, but I'm not impressed with Anna Valérie Seto's performances the last few weeks, if not the first half of the season. I justified it a lot at the beginning. I said she's just learning it. She's going to get better. I want to see progression throughout the season. There has been progress, but there's still a lot of vulnerabilities when they're playing on her side. But yeah, so that's for the game. But there was two big new signings for Rose FC during the week.
Yeah.
In defender Yves Perissette and midfielder Mimi Alidou. But you guys know there's never good news without bad news. Hattie, what were the bad news that happened this week? Tell me all about it.
Yeah, we were there at training, Elias and I, the first training for F. Perissé and Mimi Alidou. We were very excited. We really wanted to interview them. I don't know if you guys have listened to the interviews. You can see them, of course, on the Patreon. We're there. You can hear them. Sorry, not see them, but hear them. And unfortunately, during the practice session, F. Perissé got injured. And they're saying 8 to 12 weeks now.
Non-contact.
She's not going to be at all be able to train normally, which is a big blow. And honestly, I'm going to be super honest. When we did the interview, because we spoke to Marinette Pichon, we spoke to Robert Rositoyu, and we spoke with Mimi Alidou. Of course, they didn't release F. Perissé, which is completely normal because she's injured. They told us that it was a knock. But I felt something during those interviews, and I was like, man, are they? There was something off with Marinette and Robert. I felt there was something off, and I was like, okay, are we just taking too much space? And I started, doubting myself personally.
Yeah, talk about that a little bit. Sorry, Hattie. What was it that you felt? What was the?
I don't know. I felt that they weren't very happy and very as happy as they should be with those signings. And I thought maybe they're unhappy because there weren't a lot of media that came and saw them. Maybe they weren't very happy that we were, me and Elias were the only two to be asking questions. And I started second guessing myself, like, did we do something wrong or whatever? And then the news broke out that she's gone for 8 to 12 weeks. So, and I'm pretty sure that's the reason why they were completely thrown off, and it you can feel it. Like you could feel it during the interviews that they were thrown off. But what I like about those signings, first of all, Mimi Alidou is going to be awesome up front. Awesome. Like she's going to play at 10, so she's going to be able to help the Badous, the Boychuks, those players there. And right now, yes, Pechersky maybe is going to be is going to take that wing back position and make it her own. But still, you need help. You need help. You need help on the wing backs. And when they signed Perisset, we didn't know that she was going to be out for that long. We asked Robert and we asked Marinette. No, we asked first Marinette. Marinette told us that other signings are coming. She said other signings are coming. And we're like, wow, okay. Try to give us an exclusive information. And she's like, no, I can't say anything. And right after, Robert, when we asked him, hey, do you need any more help? And he's like, yeah, I need help at the wing back position. So even with Perisset and not knowing how long she'll be out, they knew they needed more wing backs for that team. And that's going to be super interesting. But at the same time, I think with Mimi Alidou, if we can score tons of goals, we won't need wing backs. We won't need wing backs. We just need goals. That's all we need.
They already barely have wing backs to begin with. It's more just like wingers that sometimes have to defend. Right?
Exactly.
If there's a big fail about the Roses FC this offseason was the lack of signing of wing backs. They've did some great wing signings, but they let go of a lot of right back, full backs over the offseason, and they never replaced them except for Lisa Pechersky. But that's it. So
Lisa Pechersky's not even a wingback.
No, she's not a wingback.
No,
but she's playing there. But remember, right? These are not the wingbacks.
Yeah, but don't forget that Robert Robisitoyu, said that Chirem for him was a wingback in his new system.
Yeah, but she always played wide for him, so I'm not too surprised that was.
But when he said we lost Chirem, he said, yeah, we lost Chirem, we need more wingbacks.
And Hanbin, by the way. He said Hanbin was also supposed to play wingback.
Yeah.
So those are, because as you said, Hattie, he told you this in practice when he didn't know the full extent of the injury. When I asked him after the game yesterday again, I was like, hey, are you guys looking for any more help? He's like, yeah, wingback position, need that. So he really reiterated that. So very, very sad loss. Elias, what are your thoughts a little bit on the signings, just quickly, if you can give us your impressions?
Look, I mean, bringing someone in like Marie-Yasmine Alidou is fantastic. Like immediately from the first 5 minutes, you could tell that she's different grade. Like the footwork, the execution, the perceptiveness, fantastic. And I think that she's going to help break down a lot of these games where we're talking about how the middle of the park was not sharp enough, and how sometimes they were too busy focused going side to side to really get forward. Marie-Yasmine Alidou is going to be that skeleton key. She's going to break up so many more. First of all, she's going to attract so much attention. Second of all, she's going to be able to execute phenomenally. She's going to make more space for players out wide, which is, again, that is what they're trying to do. They're trying to, find space out wide to then bring it back in the middle. But Mimi Alidou, just with her quality, is either going to get the ball for free or going to bring one or two players on her at any given moment. That also means more breathing room for Elise Bennett and for Evelyn Badou, who are being very tightly marked, and who, again, right, when you look at this Halifax game, not just Halifax, right, you look at the way that Calgary plays, even if you look at the way that, Ottawa approached the game, was denying any kind of progress on the middle and forcing you to develop to the flanks. And having that kind of quality in the middle of the park it's worth its weight in gold. So I'm very excited to see how she fits into this system. I'm very excited to see how she mixes with the other players, but this can only be a good thing.
Yeah, I agree with you. And honestly, I just to kind of finish it off here with the signings. Obviously, huge signings, and having Eve Perisset and Mimi Alidou join the team, not just on the field, but also what they bring as far as, like, say, attention to the team, commercial, whatever you want. I mean, they're already making appearances at least Mimi Alidou is making appearances everywhere. But I've heard, and you guys told me, and I've also heard other people say that the impact she made just in practice has been noticeable. So it's going to be very exciting. I think the loss of Perisset is huge. It's huge. You guys mentioned it already, how Marina Pichon and Robert Rassotoyu felt during the interview. But I think just if you look at it, I mean, when I saw the news, guys, when I saw the announcement, because I wasn't at practice like you guys, I said, holy smokes, this is not good because they just signed him, and this how long? This is a big loss. We're talking about Megan Sauvé probably having to play center back for a little bit because we don't know Stephanie Hill's the extent of her injury. So um, it's going to be very tricky because now Robert Rossitoy, I'm pretty sure he's been kind of patching up positions here and there and
Yeah.
trying to make the best of the players he has. I mean, you guys mentioned it. Boychuk doesn't like playing that position. I don't know if Megan Sauvé likes playing that position, but I mean, she's doing it okay. But I don't think it's her. It doesn't look like it's a natural position to her. Uh, but they're going to need help. They're going to need help, and they're going to have to sign some players to either be replacements or starters. But her injury changes, I think, everything. And something that they said in the statement where they were announcing I don't know if you guys saw, where they were announcing the signings, they said, with Rose's new approach to their signings and their high achieving how do they call it? I forgot the words exactly that you see, but it's like they're almost announcing like, hey guys, we're about to make splashes with our signing because now we have a different approach. So very interesting.
Can I just say
Fucking what
something?
belong, man.
What? Yeah,
Fucking what
I
belong, man.
agree. I agree.
You're not
No,
wrong.
but I want to say something. I have a very strong feeling that we're going to see Marie Levasseur with the Roses. I just said it. So we'll see. I have a
I know
very,
you're still
very
holding
strong
out hope.
feeling. I'm pretty sure it's going to happen, man. Like, they need
Yeah, but
wing
like,
backs.
Expand.
She was there. She was there at practice a couple of times. You know, you know, and you have Marinette, you have Alidou that came here, you have Perissé that's here. They're upping up their game, and I feel that Marie Levasseur could be very interested. I don't know. I don't have any scoop or anything, but yeah, I think it's something they're exploring, and I wouldn't be surprised if they're getting it done.
a fella can dream.
Now, Alidou is a much higher caliber than Marie Levasseur. Like let's say it.
But
Like
still,
it's
that's
still a
still
great
big
signing if
acquisition.
they're able to do it. Yeah, for sure, for sure. Now, the only thing that makes me wonder is that Perissé is already a right wing back, and Levasseur would be a right wing back too. So maybe too many right wing backs. Maybe they need someone
Oh,
on the
I'm okay
left.
with
But
that.
we'll see.
I'm okay
We'll
with
see.
that. I'm
No,
okay
because
with
you'll have Perissé, you'll have Levasseur, and you have Whitaker that can play also right wing back. So like you have three. That's a lot. I don't know.
you also
Let's wait
you got
and
to be
see,
smart with
like
your
we
money,
say.
right?
wait and see, baby.
Let's wait and see. Exactly, exactly. So, guys, as you know, we do have a new sponsor. So, a huge thank you to our friends at Impact Essentials for being part of the Ball is Round squad. So, whether you're getting ready for match day, heading to the stadium, or tuning in from home, make sure you're looking your best with their premium, all natural grooming products. Visit impactessential.ca and use promo code TBIR to save 15% on your order. Every purchase you guys make will help support the show and keeps us bringing you the best coverage of CF Montreal, Roses FC, FC Supra du Québec, CS Saint Laurent, name it, and the Montreal soccer scene. Now, let's get back to the beautiful game. And please, guys, go check that website, impactessentials.ca.
Let's go. All right. So next up, we got CF Montreal, who has not played MLS games, has been playing. They played two Canadian Championship game against CPL side Vancouver FC, and they played both games last week, and beat them twice in both legs to move on to the next round of the Canadian Championship. I'm not gonna ask you to pull up the lineup, Elias, because it's gonna be two different lineups. But overall, based
We'll
on
talk
who
about yesterday's. I mean,
Yeah, let's talk about it
okay, we
yesterday.
can talk about it yesterday. So yesterday, this is FC Super. All right,
Yeah.
so we had at goalie we had Sebastian Breza, David Bugay, Brandon Craig, Efrain Morales with the red card, Luca Petrasso in the back four. We had Frankie Amaya starting with Matty Longstaff and Victor Tolotori in the middle. Hennady Sinchuk, Noah Strite in the wings, as well as Prince Owusu on the strike position. So, and the final score was 2-1. Um, Okay, so talk to me a little bit overall, and usually I ask you for the game itself, but they played two games, so let's talk about that overall. CF Montreal's performance in the two games. Yeah, what were your thoughts on it? How do I start with you?
Honestly, it's so funny because during the game, there's a lot of people sometimes that send me messages and everything, and when they, I'm talking about yesterday, when they got the red card, they're like, oh, it's gonna be tough. Yeah, I'm like, man, I'm not worried. I'm really not worried. I don't feel that CF Montreal, even in Vancouver, I wasn't worried about CF Montreal. Yes, they weren't playing the best game of their lives. I'm not saying that, but I didn't feel that Vancouver at any time would be able to beat CF Montreal in any of the two games. And they do have talent. I'm not saying they don't. I feel that the CF Montreal players and the team of Philippe Lafroy seems a bit more confident than usual. And they know how to handle the pressures within a game versus a team that's not as good as them. Because let's face it, though this team is plays in the Canadian Premier League, they're not the top of the Canadian Premier League like Forge or Cavalry, and there's a big gap between them and CF Montreal, and you could see it at any time. The CF Montreal was able to beat Vancouver while playing 10 against 11, and it wasn't that hard. There was maybe one or two moments in the game where it was a bit tough. They scored a goal, there was a handball, okay, maybe that. There was that save from Sebastian Breza, okay, but that's it. The rest of the time, I didn't feel that we're playing 10 against 11. So yeah, for me, good game from CF Montreal. Very good game from the staff, Philippe Lafroy and his staff that handled it very very well. A professional win. Let's say it that way. It's a professional win from the CF Montreal against Vancouver FC.
And maybe you can give us, before Elias gives us his take, your top and your flop of the game from both games. I mean, there were two games, right? So if anything,
we're just gonna talk about yesterday because the other one like was too long ago. But that we watched maybe 30 games since then. So between the World Cup and everything, I don't remember.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
Honestly, maybe it's not going to be the best player, but for me, it was the best player, and I want to give it to Luca Petrasso. That pass on the second goal, oh my God. And you know what? I want to give some love to that guy that's been very consistent.
Got an extension.
Exactly, that's where I wanted to go. Got an extension for 3 years. I saw a lot of people saying, yeah, it's a player that will never be a starter in any other team in the MLS. I disagree with that. I feel that he's a very good MLS player. He's not the top of the class, but he's very consistent. He's very reliable, and it's someone that you're happy to have in your team. And this guy has been here, has worked very, very, very well. In 2025, for me, it was the best player of the year. And right now, yes, he has some games where he's not great, but he's never super bad. He's always have that consistency that's very, very interesting. Now, for the flop, I will leave you the obvious one. I'll give you the less obvious. And for me, Noah Strite. Honestly, he was it was really, really, really bad what he did. Now, he has the good reflexes. Sometimes he takes the good decisions. It's just that sometimes technically he doesn't have the technical abilities to do what he wants to do. And that's super bad. And for me, he's far from being a starter in MLS. Like, he's not at the required level to have a starting position with the CF Montreal.
Oh, that's something, huh? For Noah Strite, because he is an investment for the future. So
for the future, not now.
But against a CPL team, I'm sorry, guys, but that's when you have to at least show you're at the level to compete against a CPL team.
He was trying to dribble, and then he fell because he dribbled himself. Oh, like, that was bad, man.
Jeez.
That
That
was like,
happens. Like that's
no, dude,
unlucky,
no, it
man.
doesn't
Like
happen at that level. I'm
No, it
sorry.
does. That
Like,
happens
I'm
to the
super.
three of us. That
I'm.
happens amongst the three of us. Like,
speak for
You know,
yourself.
you know, you know how positive I am usually, and I don't like to be mean, but I'm sorry. I do think that he has a lot of potential, and he can be a great player in the next 2 3 years. I completely agree. But right now, giving him a starting position, it's really the last call you want to make.
how many times have we seen a player kind of get stuck in that overthinking phase? Because maybe that's what it is, right? Maybe it's an overthinking phase of like, what do I do here? How do I do it? What do I, a million questions instead of just the basics of pass, pass, pass. Elias, what were your thoughts on the game and your top pick?
I agree with Hattie that it was a very professional game and that they were never really in any danger. But I, this team has an incredible ability to make its life more difficult than it needs to be. Right. I'm not just talking about the Morales red card. I'm talking about, you know, giving up chances for no reason, conceding way too much possession, even when it was 11v11, letting them grow into the game when you had complete control. Um, and then obviously, like the goal was, the goal was the goal. That was disappointing too. What pissed me off even more is right after halftime. Right after halftime, 40 seconds, the guy's alone in front of Breza. Breza gets chipped, and then it looked like a Charlie Chaplin movie. Them trying to keep the ball in the net. This was 40 seconds. You're trying to send a message to set the tone for the rest of the half, and you pull that stuff off. So and then they turn around completely, and then they have an extremely professional second half, and they run everything until the 70 or 75th minute, and then they kind of take their foot off the gas. I'm like, I don't get it with this team. I'm getting whiplash. So I Hattie said it right. It was a professional win. They did what they had to do, but it's very clear that this team has kind of reset to zero in terms of match readiness, match fitness, sharpness. Again, Vancouver FC, credit where credit is due. Vancouver FC is a team that's in really good form right now. They start off the season horribly, but they're doing much better in the last month or so. I think they also completely bungled this because the way they reacted to the red card was was terrible. They reacted very poorly. They
They got
didn't. They
two
didn't take advantage of
chances in the whole game.
They
Two
didn't take
chances.
advantage of
That's
the
it.
numbers. They didn't take advantage of the numbers. They didn't take advantage of any kind of overload. I didn't see anything different from Vancouver in the first and second half. They gave way
No,
too much time on the ball.
same thing.
They gave way too much space. You saw that there's two players in the midfield. They went with a 4-2-3, and you said, let's only play out wide. We're watching this like so, you know, Martin Nash. Who? Fun fact is Steve Nash's brother. It's
Yes,
Martin
sir.
Nash. Yeah, it's
Yes.
Martin Nash. Steve Nash's brother is a good coach because I've seen the work he's done in the CPL, but he dropped the ball on this and he was not good. My top is going to be Brendan Craig. I think Brendan Craig had a fantastic
Yeah,
game. Free
yeah.
kick or not, I'm happy to see that he finally got rewarded with a nice free kick goal because he has been one of the more underrated set piece takers on this team since he arrived.
He's really good on set piece.
I think he caught everyone off guard last season with some really good free kicks that required some fantastic saves, and some very good corners. And I saw him and Brian Vetta standing over this, and I genuinely did not know who was going to take it because
Yeah, me neither. I was like, man, who's
because,
gonna take it?
because this is a very good 1-2 punch that you have in terms of free kick taking ability, but.
Yeah,
Brandon Craig
one
took
right
it.
footer and one left footer.
Exactly.
Too.
There
That's
was never
super
a
interesting.
doubt with what with the second he hit it, everyone kind of went quiet. I'm like, oh, this is a goal. And not only did that goal lift up the crowd and everything like that, but I think it also helped calm the players down because now they have an extra safety net. And you could tell when that went in, everyone was like, oh, okay. Everything is fine now. And then they handled the rest of the game very well. My flop, thank you for the assist, Heidi. From Morales, man.
Yeah, man, he was so bad.
Here's the thing,
Man, what are those tackles,
best,
man?
At his best, he reminds me of the early days of George Campbell.
No, he's not adapting well. George Campbell used to adapt so much better. No.
At first,
No.
at first,
He removed himself. He
my
removed
Elias.
himself. We lost Elias.
No, but
Am I
I
allowed to
get.
talk? No. Every time I disagree with Andy now, it's gonna no.
Sorry, I'm gonna
that?
mute myself. Go ahead, Elias. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
With and without the ball, both with what he provides in terms of line breaking passes and with who he's asked to mark in terms of he's been asked to mark some of the big strikers man to man over the past year and a bit. He reminds me a lot of the early days of George Campbell. The good, which I've just mentioned, and the bad. Poor decision
And the
making.
ugly? No.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
The ugly
Sorry
was
for
that tackle. The ugly was that second.
Yeah,
Well,
I
actually,
agree.
it was both tackles. Let's be honest here. That was orange.
Man,
that first tackle.
The first tackle for me, it
the
was
first
a red.
tackle was
For me, it was a red
very
already.
First of all, what are you doing sliding it like that? But
it's not even worth it.
Exactly.
Like,
so George Campbell
let it go
did
out,
not
man.
make tackles like that, but he had an incredible ability to put himself in horrible positions. Right? That first season, when he came back from injury, and then the beginning of his second season, he had a rough time kind of finding his footing. And so Efrain Morales, the good and the bad, and with those tackles, the ugly, reminds me a lot of that. So to see him do things like this that are completely unnecessary, like if the first yellow was dumb, whatever, he got hot-headed, that's shit happens, fine. But now you're on a yellow. You have to navigate the rest of the game. If he got a foul because he was stopping a promising attack and he had no other choice, it was like a 2-on-1, and he did it for that reason, you shouldn't have been in that position, but I understand it was a professional foul and that's your second yellow, whatever. There was no need whatsoever. And the worst part is the entire press box, even some of the club people, the second he got burnt, everyone knew what was going to happen. You knew before he slid, he was going to make that tackle, and he was nowhere near the ball. And I saw it coming. I'm like, oh my God, he's going to do it. And then he fucking did it. It's like almost like he was daring himself to like do it. Like he's got the devil on his shoulder and the angel on his shoulder. And the devil's like, do it. I'm like, no, dude, you don't have to. And again, it's just horrible decision making. So the potential is still absolutely there. And I still think that, they should be aiming. I believe they should be aiming for in the long haul for Jalen Neal and Efrain Morales to be the starting center back pairing together. So I think that's where the potential is. Brian Vetta right now is in his prime of his career and everything. He's doing very well. I think he deserves to start. But if you're aiming to have Efrain Morales and Jalen Neal as your starting duo, and Efrain Morales has almost been handed the keys to some of the toughest assignments, right? You're talking about Sam Surge, we're talking about Eric Maxim Choupo-Moting, we're talking about the big striker, even Hugo Kuipers to a degree. Those games, if I'm giving you this confidence, you cannot repay me by actively screwing over everyone else. And I understand he felt terrible. Like apparently everyone in the dressing room was celebrating except for him. Philippe Lafroy said, right? And I'm happy that he recognizes that it was. It's indefensible.
But you can see it
right?
in his face when he did the tackle. He got up and he's like, "Fuck!" And
that's why it's the devil on the shoulder thing.
He knew it
because he knows it's the wrong idea and he just does it, right?
Yeah, but sometimes I think he just needs experience. He needs experience. That's all.
That's not something that calms down with experience.
Dude, I'm gonna give you one name.
The ability to maybe do it less often is one thing, but that's not an experience thing. That's an instinct thing.
It's a maturity thing.
Himself.
It's a maturity thing and understanding the situation that you're in and the impact of that stupid tackle that could do.
Yeah, I agree with Andy.
It's maturity. Like it comes with times, but to me, that's why when you compare him to an early George Campbell, I felt like even early in his career, George Campbell was much better at adapting a situation, understanding the situation. He didn't have the most advanced technical skill, but that developed over time, and now we're seeing it flourish much more. Question for you guys. Which second yellow was dumber? Real Embolos or Efrain Morales?
100%. 1 billion%. Embolos.
Who's? Okay. Embolos.
You're like 100% and you didn't say who.
I mean, come on. Understanding situation, understanding
that might be one of the stupidest second yellows. It's actually a good point. It might be one of the stupidest second yellows I've ever seen in my entire life.
Very
Yeah.
dumb.
because
Very dumb.
because
Extremely dumb.
even
Okay,
let's say you
but
feel contact, you go down. Why are you throwing yourself? If you just
yeah,
fell, that's one thing. This man
Understanding again.
launched himself
but
and then sold it,
as
and then he fucking sold it.
yeah, but as per the law of the game, they shouldn't be able to give that second yellow card. But I'm not gonna go into that. But
No,
Oh,
no, no, no,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
no.
yeah, yeah,
how
yeah,
do you?
yeah, 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 yeah. I'll send you the text. I'll send you the text. Yeah,
Adi,
yeah,
you're
yeah.
Because
wrong.
there's
You're
is it
very
from
wrong.
Eric?
No,
They're allowed.
huh?
Is it Eric who's
Yeah,
getting?
yeah,
Eric
yeah,
was in
yeah.
my mentions upset as hell too, and I explained it to him. I'll explain it to you as well. The new provision in VAR is that when someone simulates and it causes a yellow card for the other player,
I should cause a second yellow for the other player, and it wasn't a second yellow for the other player.
doesn't matter.
What are you
If
talking about,
somebody
Adi?
if somebody simulates and because of the simulation, the other player gets a yellow card, VAR can go and review it and say that is wrong, and the simulating offender gets the yellow card. Doesn't matter if it's a second yellow, that's a stone cold yellow card.
I'm
It's
sorry.
in the
I
laws,
would need
right?
I would need a written proof because that's not what I read.
Okay,
That's
but
not
at
what
the
I
same
read.
time, it happened to Amiron as well.
I know, but that was wrong too, twice.
Okay. Okay. All right. Look, we have a lot. We still
No,
have.
yeah, yeah. I just want to answer
Yes, we
P
do have a
Dubs
few
and
comments.
Robbie.
Yes.
P Dub and Robbie, please, if you don't mind. Let's start with P Dub that asked. He came from the Swiss second division, talking about Noah Strike. What are we expecting him to be? I don't care where he came from. He's a
You're
starter
here
right now.
Yes.
Yeah, he's a starter right now because we don't have anybody else on the left wing. So I don't care where he comes from. He's just not good enough to be a starter. So I'm sorry, P Dubs, but for me, at the end of the day, when Lucas Saputo is doing his squad and making his squad, right now he's building his squad with Noah Strike being the lone left winger. Now, yes, we heard and we read Maxime Truman what he said. He said that they're looking for a left winger right now. So let's hope that they will get someone very, very, very quick because, yeah, time is
Jaime on a
ticking.
discount. Let's go.
Time is ticking. For the second comment from Robbie, never super bad. The bar is low, and he talks about what I said about Luca
What are
Petrasso.
you doing, Elias?
What?
Go ahead. He's putting wrong comments on the screen. I'm sorry, Hattie. Go
No,
on.
but it was a funny comment from Robbie. Sorry,
All
Robbie,
right,
for
sorry.
appreciating your humor. Yes, he was talking about never super bad, but the bar is
Yeah.
low.
Yeah, the bar is low. Exactly. But you know what? Every player that I've known, from Virgil van Dijk to Fabio Cannavaro to whoever, name it, has usually super bad game. And Luca Petrasso, this year and 2025, I haven't seen a super bad game from him. And for me, this is a good thing. Go ahead, Elias.
Canadian Classic.
Yeah, this year?
Bernadeschi dropped a hat trick on his head.
Yeah, okay. I'll give you that.
I completely agree with you. I have one that comes to mind.
Okay,
that
one.
He was
Okay,
horrible.
one.
But that kind of
one.
proves your point. That kind of proves your point too.
That was a bad.
No,
I
but
just
you're
feel it
right.
need-
You're right.
I
I
feel it
forgot.
needed to be said.
You know,
I feel it needed
sometimes.
to be said.
No, you're right. You're right. But sometimes, you know, you need that bad game in order to realize how good you are. Usually.
So
Did I save myself.
we do, guys. This show,
I never heard that in my life.
episode 270 has been a shit show, and we absolutely love it. But we do have a third team to cover. So before we get to it, if you're enjoying The Ball Is Round, make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on the notifications so you never miss an episode. It's the best way to support the show and help us grow. Be sure to leave your thoughts in the comments as you've been doing. P-Dubs, Robbie, thank you so much. We want to hear what you guys think about all the stories they're developing. And don't forget to follow us on all of our social media channels for any of the latest breaking news, any of the latest breaking content that we have. And for CF Montreal, Rose FC, FC Super to Quebec, and everything Canada Soccer. So,
Andy, am I crazy? But you didn't give your top and flop, right, for CF Montreal? Or I'm
I'll-
just crazy?
yeah, no, you're not crazy. I didn't
Okay.
watch yesterday's game.
Yeah, you were at Roses. Yeah.
Yeah.
You were at Roses.
But yeah, good job, guys.
Nah,
They did- All right. But
Yeah,
yeah,
we have to tell everybody here, we're covering like 3, 4, 5 teams sometimes. So maybe sometimes, one of us is not going to watch all the games. So that's completely normal. So,
yeah.
so yeah.
Or we might all be single and sleeping in the couch.
Yeah.
So, so.
When you're single, you
I'm
don't need to sleep on
single,
the
so
couch.
Oh.
I get to watch all the games. Fuck you guys.
Sorry, Elias, that wasn't
Ooh,
a-
you guys have your marriages and your happy home life. Fuck you. I get to watch all the soccer I want. So how about that?
Yeah, let's not comment on
I'm
that.
laughing to not cry. All right, so but we had it was we had another team. We had the FC Supra
Yeah.
that also played their first leg of the Canadian
Yeah.
Championship, which feels like forever ago. Which they
Same day as
not even done with the sentence. You see, I'm not even done with the sentence, and I had to put my face like this. You see?
Yeah.
So
I'm learning from you.
they convincingly beat Atletico Ottawa 3-1 at Stade Boreal. Before we get into it, guys, I just want to know your honest opinions, okay? I know we don't usually talk about this, but at the game at Stade Boreal that day, you guys were there with me. We had Ismael Kone, Nathan Saliba, and Moise Bombito. Did you guys see anywhere before the game that it was advertised that they were coming?
No.
How many people were present at the Stade Boreal on a Wednesday night? Was it Wednesday night? Do you guys remember the number?
1,700 and something.
1,700, half the stadium, right?
A third.
I don't feel good about that, guys. I don't know. Maybe, you guys are gonna tell me, Andy, it's a Wednesday night, and blah blah blah.
No. I'm wondering.
No,
I'm wondering if it's something that was planned by the club, or if it's just them that just decided to show up.
it was planned by the club. They knew.
Even if they did, advertising them coming is not going to drive ticket sales.
I disagree with you. The World Cup momentum, and you literally go to downtown Montreal, Ismael Kone's photo is everywhere.
Okay, but
maybe,
no one's gonna be no one's gonna be showing up to a soccer game to see them.
Yaya Touré?
Yes. People came for like.
And it didn't do. Yeah, but Yaya Touré. Are you seriously comparing Yaya Touré?
No,
with,
but right now the hype,
momentum. Yeah,
he's right. I agree with Andy 100%. The momentum right now is the Canadian national team. This is World Cup.
Here's the
Canadian
thing.
national team. 3 of them are going to be here, and the 3 of them played very, very well. I don't know.
And Ismael Kone is being put in a pedestal right now because of what he went through. Are you kidding me?
The thing is, with no World Cup in Montreal, let's be honest, it did not have the same effect. No World Cup, no viewing parties. No, it didn't have the same effect.
I disagree
that it had in Toronto and Vancouver.
No,
right. And with that in mind, you also take into account that the people that would have shown up for Moise Bombito and Ismael Kone and Nathan Saliba were already there.
No,
I don't think so, man.
I disagree.
If you're talking about driving sales, I think maybe an extra couple hundred people, maybe. But if you're talking about like filling half the stadium, I
would say at least 1,000 more. At least.
Elias, if I'm not planning on going to that game,
because the thing is, they weren't there. If it was like a meet and greet, that's a different story. But it wasn't a meet and greet. They were just there to watch the game. If you're advertising, like there's going to be an appearance at halftime and there's going to be like a booth for pictures and signatures, that's an entirely different story.
Yeah, I don't.
But I'm saying, hey, come to the game. By the way, they're going to be here.
Dude, if I'm a fan of the Canadian men's national team and I love the World Cup and what happened with Ismael, I don't care if I get a fucking little beep of him. I don't care.
Man, the number of people that took pictures with them, like,
dude, Ismael Kone stepped out of the tent. There. Hear me out.
No, but people will come to take a picture with them. If they knew beforehand, they would have come just to take pictures with them. 100%.
Elias, look, you guys know this.
But the pictures weren't an organized thing. You just kind of found and said, "Hey, can I take a picture?" And they're not assholes, so they're not going to say no. Yeah, but there was no set.
It's not organized, man. You're at Stade Montreal. You have nothing closed. Like, even the media box is not closed. Anybody can be there. Like, in a way, like, you're at Stade Montreal. Like, anybody. Yeah, okay.
It doesn't. No, Elias, look, hear me out. The thing is, look, I put my picture with Ismael online on my Instagram, and I had random people that don't ever like talk to me or whatever. They were like, hey, that's that kid that was at the World Cup, right? He was there. I was like, yeah, damn it, if I would have known. And I'm like, okay, but that's where you fill up your stadium. It's the moment. So to me, anyway, sorry, I know we want to talk about the game, and we are going to talk about the game, but I just wanted to point that out. It feels like they've had a few missteps here and there when it comes to really selling out games or putting on more butts in the seats. And hopefully they'll be learning next season or maybe later in the season how to better handle these situations. But to me right now, it feels like missed opportunities. I don't know how you guys feel about that. If it is a missed opportunity for FC
I
Supra.
agree. Now, I agree with you, Andy. It's a missed opportunity, but at the same time, you don't know how the discussion went. So maybe the players said, you know what, we just want to go with our friends and just watch the game. We don't want the whole fuss around it. That's a possibility. The second possibility, maybe Nathan and Ismael and Moise just called Rocco and the same day, and he didn't have time to advertise it the way it was. Like, I don't know. Honestly, I you don't know what happened, behind the scenes. So I'm not gonna go. I agree with you that if this was something that was planned, yes, it should have been advertised. Completely agree with you. But at the same time, we don't know the whole story. Maybe they couldn't advertise it. So let's just keep that in mind. That's all.
Yeah. And Robbie says, Elias, you're wrong on this one. Is never afraid.
Yeah.
Robbie's never afraid to call out Elias when he's wrong, or any of us for that matter. But
I
let's
wish
go.
it was. I wish it was anybody else but Robbie to tell Elias that he's
Elias is annoyed right now. He's
Robbie has
annoyed in
been-
this show.
I'm fine.
Oh, we love you, Robbie,
mean,
man. We
agree
love
to
you,
disagree.
Robbie. We love you, Robbie.
All right, so let's go ahead and pull up the lineup of the game for FC
Oh,
Supra.
now, am I allowed to pull up the lineup, Andy? Am I allowed, Your Highness?
He's fine.
Okay.
So at goalie, we have Joachim Mili. At right back, we had Charles Auguste. We had Delande and Chrétien as center backs, and we had Abzi as the left back. We had Sissoko and Biello making his return to the midfield, as well as David Chouanière, Sean Rea, and Clément Bahia as the I want to say the forwards, and Loic Quemi as the number 9. Okay, so all three of us were at the game. Very convincing win. What were your thoughts overall of the game? Elias, I'll start with you.
This was their best game of the year by 1,000,000%. Ottawa never had a foot in the game. They controlled the tempo. They broke Ottawa down systematically. All 3 goals were a thing of beauty. Sean Reyes was a bit of individual class, but the first goal and the third goal were team goals of the highest quality, stuff that you really expected to see from this team. And so I was thrilled to see that from start to finish, right? It took a fantastic shot from Wesley Timoteo to kind of, maybe sour the mood a little bit. A 3-1 doesn't sound as good as a 3-0. But besides that free kick, wall-to-wall, perfect game. As close to a perfect game as we've seen from the Supra so far. They've had either slow starts or slow ends to games. And I didn't get a whiff of that. Every single player on the field hit their marks, and I was so happy that they finally got like a really good 90 minutes under their belt, because especially recently the novelty of the Supra is kind of wearing off. It's no longer, oh my God, it's the first game, or it's the first week, or it's the first 3 games. You're kind of in the trudge of the midseason grind now, and I think it's starting to wear the players down a little bit too. We're seeing some slow games. We're seeing some flat feet. And so a game like this, where everyone just hits their marks, everyone is on point, and they put themselves in a fantastic position to now make the semifinals and have a rematch with Forge, who I think they feel like they let Forge off the hook a little bit in that last game. Now they have the chance to go there and book a rematch in the semifinals and potentially even make the finals on their first try in the Canadian Championship, which would be, again, a huge accomplishment. So from start to finish, honestly, chapeau to the Supra, because by far their best game of the season.
Yeah, it was very hard to find anything wrong with this game. And more than anything, they put in a performance that we've been kind of waiting for them to put on, because they did a lot of it at the beginning of the season. But it just felt like recently, especially in the Canadian Premier League, they have fallen off their performances. They just haven't been enough. And it just felt like this was a complete performance. But beyond FC Supra playing well, I also felt that Atletico Ottawa did not play well. they were never able to find their game. They were never able to adjust
And you're
well.
such a Debbie Downer, man.
Yeah.
It's crazy, man. You're
Yeah.
a Debbie Downer, man, all the time.
Yeah.
Man, can we enjoy the fact that they completely dominated them?
I said it. They had a fantastic game, one of their best games. But I still feel like Atletico Ottawa didn't play their best, and they're a much better team, in my opinion, than FC Super on a good day. But obviously FC Super was the better team, and they dominated them. Except as Elias mentioned, that only goal that they gave up, which obviously made it kind of like it's a 3-1 instead of a 3-0. But it was a great game. I think Nick Rizaghi figured out how Atletico Ottawa, because they really capitalized on Atletico Ottawa's mistakes, and sometimes they seem to step slower than FC Supra. But more than anything, a necessary victory for them, a necessary win, because I think they have been kind of going on a downward spiral in the Canadian Premier League. Hadi, what'd you think of the game? And then finish off by telling us your top and flop of the game.
Yeah, for sure. Honestly, I had to remove and to delete the exclamation marks in my notes because I had too many. I was so impressed by Nick Rizaghi and the Supra FC. And you know what? We've been very harsh with Nick Rizaghi in the last few weeks, and deservedly so. But right now, he pulled out a tactical masterclass in that game. Drew Becky didn't have the answer to anything he threw out to him. And honestly, this is something that we want to see from the FC Supra, because we do have good players. We do have players that are able to perform at that stage. Now, that game will be a reference for that team going forward in the season. This is the reference. This is the game they have to look at every time they want to create and they want to start a new streak. They want to win something. This was the best game I've seen by FC Supra since the beginning of the season. They were perfect. And even the players that are not usually starters, like Delande had an amazing game. Elias has been very mean with Clément Baillat, saying that he had a terrible season. And he was deservedly so.
I wasn't mean.
You were mean. But he had a great game. And you even said it. You even said it that it's the best game you've seen from him this year. Yeah. So for me, chapeau to Nick Rizaghi to be able to do that and to pull out a win like that. And we saw him also at the press conference. He seemed very affected by all the negative comments that happened in the last few weeks. And we felt it when he answered, that at the end of the day, these are human, right? And they're human beings, right? So they do have feelings and everything. And whenever we are ourselves here on the Ball Is Round, we're harsh. It's not on the human being, it's on the coach, right? So I just wanted to say good job to Nick Rizaghi and everything that he did for that game, and to be able to have that masterclass during that game. And it's the right moment to have a masterclass, and this is what he did. So great job. I had a lot of fun. I wasn't expecting such a dominant game from the FC Supra. And just please, that shot from Sean Rea. What the hell, man? This guy is just...
I was left.
This guy is just unbelievable. He's
is that
just
your
unbelievable. Top? No, he's not, because, I don't like to say the same player every time. For me, my top was David Choinière. And the reason behind it is that I felt David Choinière as a real captain of this team. I felt that he was here when he was needed. He put that scrappy goal. And you know what? You needed that scrappy goal in order to be able to produce that masterclass. And I think it all started with David Choinière. His work rate was impressive. You can feel that he was everywhere on the pitch, doing everything on the pitch. And I really liked his game. For my flop, it's hard to give a flop from FC Supra. So my flop was Wesley Timoteo, because he's not allowed to score against his Montreal team. Whoa. He's a Montrealer. He's not allowed. I don't agree. So Timoteo, no.
Because 1 + 1 equals 2 for Hadi.
Never again.
Look, no, you're absolutely right. For the top and flop, I mean, it's so hard, right? Like top, you can pick pretty much anybody on the field. but yeah, I would give my top to Nick Razagi, as you said, because it was a well planned game. It was a well planned, well executed game plan. Yes, did he say that he didn't like the comments? It is what
No,
it
he
is,
didn't
you
say
know.
that. He didn't
No,
say that.
no, but I
I
mean,
said that it
it's
was
clear
effective.
that he didn't.
Yeah.
But and he, he said a few things in the press conference that also said a lot about how he's been feeling, how happy he was about the whole performance overall. But I just want to give it, yeah, as you mentioned, the top would be to Nick Razagi because I think he coached a very, very well game. Very hard to find a flop, but maybe the one that didn't meet
Timoteo.
expectations for me
Timoteo.
was has been Abzi because I expect a lot more from him. I'm not saying he had a bad game because nobody had a bad game, but I expect so much
I
out of
get.
him,
I get it.
and I think that it's not just this game. I think throughout the season he's been underwhelming for several different reasons. I think he's also had a lot of changes on who he's been playing with, and his role has demanded a lot. But to me, he's been the flop of that at least that game. Elias, maybe give us your thoughts on the game and also your top of flop to finish it off.
Yeah, my top is Alessandro Biello, man.
Yeah, he's
God,
good.
oh my God, I've
We
missed
missed
him.
him, huh? Yeah.
And when he was limping off the field, I was gonna like break down in tears, dude. It was just cramps. He's fine. He's all right. But like half a second, it was the worst case scenario. Uh, he got suspended for 4 games. Then he missed another, and oh my God, you could the gap in how clean and how efficient the Super are when he is on the field versus when he's not is immense. It's bigger than, dare I say, it's bigger than any other player on the field's impact. Because I know Louis Quimi is the rock star. I know Sean Rea right now is probably the front runner for player of the season. But Alessandro Biello makes this team tick in a way that no other player can. And the work he does with or without the ball, unbelievable. Chapeau again to him. I'm so happy to see the turnaround he's had. He had a miserable go of it at Wanderers where he never really got the chance. And now the fact that he's managed to make this spot his own and he's become, for me, one of the few uh, indistinguishable not that's not the wrong word, but you know without a doubt a starter is unbelievable. And I think right now with the way that this team is playing, you've got like 4 players who are shoo-ins for the team of the season, no matter where they finish. The problem is they're not surrounded by people playing as efficiently. When you look at right down the middle, you look at Quimi, Rea, Biello, and Chrétien. You have 4 players that right now are easily all top 3 in their position in the league. And so now the job for the Supra and for Nick Razagi is to tactically and personnel wise surround those 4 players with the right personnel. And so I hope that they get it done. I think the biggest test right now for Nick Razagi as a coach is how is he going to light a fire under Jedzin of ass. Because I agree with Andy. I think that he's way too talented to be going at cruise control.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's up to the coach to find a way to motivate him. I don't have a flop per se because the entire team was fantastic. My flop is the crowd because there were not enough people there. But if only there was something they could have done to get more people. We're not going to start this again.
Let's go back to the first question.
We have one last mini topic. Of course, we have CS Saint Laurent, who took on a very real David and Goliath story. Semi-pro team taking on the biggest CPL team in the league's 7-year history. We got to sit down with Karim Mehdi, who hosts the On S'en Foot podcast. I got to sit down, who of course follow League One, follow League Two, have an in-depth knowledge of the club. And we sat down, we spoke about the game, we spoke about the CPL, we spoke about League One, we spoke about a bit of everything. Just a little clip here. And again, thank you to Karim for sitting down with us. With a fantastic Canadian Championship run once again, comes within seconds of sending the tie against Forge FC, the perennial Canadian Premier League champions, taking it all the way to penalties over 2 legs, an incredible achievement. Unfortunately, heartbreaking. They don't get it done. 94th minute, absolute devastation. With me to break down both legs and the broader context of their season is Karim Mehdi, the host of On S'en Foot podcast. Karim, thanks for doing this. What was your reaction at 94, 90 plus 4 when you see that go in and you kind of just like sink.
Heartbreak, if I could summarize it in one word, heartbreak. Not only is this my childhood club, but I feel like it's Quebec's team as of these days. Um, we saw a semi-professional team take the greatest organization in CPL down to the wire. And we've seen teams that haven't been able to beat this Forge team over the course of 8 years, and Saint Laurent almost took them to the distance. But overall, before we go into all the positives, the main word was heartbreak.
Now, I want to take you back to leg one first, right? Because two legs over a very short span of time is something that maybe Forge are used to, but in League One life, that's not always the case. We saw a team that could have done more. They could have done more to give themselves a better chance the second leg. I think we agree with the fact that they didn't really finish the chances that were given to them, or at least as many as they should have. Do you think ultimately that kind of they're going to be looking back at that going, what could have been?
I mean, obviously, like every game of soccer that doesn't go your way, you always draw back to the occasions you had, and the number one debate everyone will have is, oh, if we finished our chances, and oh, if we scored this and scored that. But at the end of the day, that's not what went down, and it's just it's not disappointing because doing what they did was so impressive. It's just it leaves a bitter taste in your mouth, you know.
Now, playing away at Forge is incredibly difficult. Whether you're a pro team, whether you're an MLS team, a CPL team, or a semi-pro team, it's a very daunting task. What were kind of your expectations for this side going into a leg two, where, let's face it, Forge are heavily favored?
Yeah, honestly, in all honesty, I thought that Forge were gonna have their way. I was expecting on our podcast, I said 2-0 Forge on the away leg. Um, I just think that when you go like when a CPL team that's so good sort of goes back home and all the conditions are now favorable for them, they tend to do better. A team that's traveling that isn't maybe used to that much of travel because like when you play League One Quebec, the furthest trip you'll do is 3 hours away to Beauport. Um, Now having to do a 6 hour or 7 hour trip to Hamilton is it's just a different ball game, and having to stay a night at a hotel, it's very different to your average routine in League One. And I thought that would sort of throw them off. Um, and initially, when you start watching that game, they concede very early, and I'm like, oh, okay, this is going to sort of play out how I thought it would. But again, Saint Laurent surprised not just me, but I think everyone that was watching.
Yeah, I think that not only did they do the province proud, but it was definitely a warning shot because. But again, Forge gets by the skin of their teeth right there in the semifinals. But we could have very well had as many as three, depending on how SC Supra do in August. We could have as many as three teams from Quebec in the semifinals, which have been sensational. But you mentioned the quick turnover, not really used to such a big travel day. We saw also a somewhat rotated squad, which surprised me a little bit. Can you kind of give us your impression on the starting 11, and do you think that, where do you think Shaq's mind was at rotating the squad a little bit?
I mean, Shakib's job is the hardest because you've got arguably the best semi-professional players that play under one team, and I think it's more a question of profiles rather than sort of who has been playing. So, in this the home leg, so at Stade Boreal, we saw one thing that did surprise me initially was seeing Zakaria Bahous on the starting 11. Not because he hadn't been; he's actually been their most informed player, but he had recently gotten injured against Celtics. So we thought that he's out for the season, etc. But he was playing. I'm sure under some heavy narcotics. The other one was Younes Shiban, who is the striker. Smaller character, loves the ball at his feet, technical, great IQ, and presses a lot. But I thought that maybe he might struggle against a Dan Nimick and just a very athletic and big Forge FC backline. Um, so those are, I'd say, the only two that I was, I guess, surprised to see in that starting 11. But if we look at the starting 11 yesterday, yes, it was yesterday indeed. Um, Sorry, excuse me. Younes Shiban gets taken out for Gabriel Balbinotti, who had started the season with Longueuil. Um, Started off the season flying at scoring a free kick and a penalty in the opening weekend. But since then, sort of, I guess, like fell in and out of the starting 11 at Longueuil. He was having problems with the technical staff, and eventually got released and joined Saint Laurent. If people follow League One Quebec, they know about Gabriel Balbinotti. He was at the CF Montreal Academy back in the day. Went to UQTR and basically
Won a national championship with UQTR.
exactly, and was it was his playground. Really, like university soccer was a joke to him. So maybe Shakib relied a bit more on that experience, the fact that he's been picked up by CPL teams or in the draft at least. Maybe he was relying on that, but at the end of the day, I don't think it paid dividends.
Now, as this game goes on and it stays 1-0, at the beginning you could tell that, sorry, you could tell at the beginning that they're just trying to get through certain phases of the match, but they grew into the game really well. At any point before this equalizer, we were like, wait a minute, there's something here.
In the home leg?
No, in the away leg now.
When the away leg, sorry, okay. One thing about Saint Laurent is that you never worry about them sort of playing their football. It's like when you've got Nathan Goulet in the back, who to me is just a midfielder who happens to be playing at center back. He is so comfortable on the ball that eventually your team is going to find sort of tempo or momentum by just sort of holding on to the ball for a bit. And I think it was a question of time. They conceded very early, which is like sort of semi-professional nerves. But then they sort of grew into it like they always do, even in League One games when they concede first, they always find a way to sort of creep back in. In the home leg at Montreal, they were the better team. Like, quite frankly, they played the better game of football. And if I personally think that if you added an extra 10, 15 minutes onto that game, they might find a winner. Although towards the last 10 minutes, Forge sort of had some momentum. But I just think they overall on that day, I would say that night, but on that scorching hot day, they were the better team.
Yeah, I think, based on the reactions at full time and even at the hydration break, I don't know if they had another 5 minutes and let alone 10 or 15, but a super impressive just effort in general. Looking over to the League One schedule now, they're in control of their own destiny right now. They're 2 points behind OSU, who have kind of fallen out of form a little bit. They have a game in hand as well. Do you think that, losing in the way that they did, do you think that serves as motivation? Do you think that maybe hurts morale a little bit now that they have to kind of refocus towards almost come back to earth a little bit and focus on this League One season?
You'll have a split of both characters in that locker room, where half the team that have done this before, playing a Canadian championship, will say, all right, well, let's now focus on winning the league so we can go back. Then you're going to have another group of players that it's their first experience, and they're going to be like, well, this was amazing. This League One stuff is like average, and then they're going to lose a bit of that edge and aren't going to play up to their full potential. I think that Saint Laurent will still pull through. What I mean by that is OSU have had poor form, not for no reason, but they recently lost their head coach, who's now who's going to Europe. He's going to be coaching for I forget what the team is called, but they're in the Europa League. So
really?
Yeah, he's joining as an assistant coach. Insane jump. Congrats to him. His name is Vlad. Deserves it. Honestly, took an OSU team that we thought would be at the bottom of the table, and they've been cruising at number one, top, uncontested for the past like at least 10 weeks. Kudos to Vlad and his technical staff. But yeah, it's like you said, it's Saint Laurent's to lose now, because with their game in hand, they go top of the table. And if I'm not mistaken, they've got a pretty favorable end of the season fixture list, so they don't hit any big hitters anymore.
Do you think that, if we take a look at the global tournament that is a Canadian championship, and the fact that only one semi-pro team from each province gets a chance to compete in it, would you like to see it expanded a little bit after the success we've seen of CSNA twice now? We haven't seen teams from BC, Alberta, or Ontario have the same amount of success. But as that gap starts to gradually reduce, do you think we should be seeing more semi-pro teams in the Canadian Championship? Almost like the FA Cup, where you have like a preliminary round of the Canadian Championship, where you have semi-pro teams from across the country compete to get into the chance to play pros?
I wouldn't mind the preliminary round. I don't think that's a bad idea, but if you were to ask me, would we want to see more semi-professional teams? My answer would be no, because I think that you've got to deserve that spot. We've seen other teams get that opportunity. So we've seen FC Laval, MRO, AS Blainville go to the Canadian Championships in the recent years, and I'm just talking about Quebec here, and things didn't really go their way at all. Um, it's not to bash on them. It's just that when you get to that Canadian Championship and you're playing pros, it is a different competition. It's a different level. There's literally levels to these things, and you got to be ready. That means an entire preseason built towards facing a team that's got pro level fitness, has got pro level concentrations. We've seen it that all these there's a stat out there that all these semi pro teams concede anywhere between the 30th and the 42nd minute in the Canadian Championship. So I guess that's where a semi-pro team loses its focus. So all of these things need to be taken into account so that you don't end up taking 5-0 or 4-0 or 3-0. These are just recent results of our semi-professional provincial teams have conceded in the Canadian Championships. So I think it's very important that you earn that right and that you show up prepared to represent your province. We haven't seen BC teams or Ontario teams go the distance, not because they've had unfavorable runs, just probably because they weren't good enough. And you've got to be good enough to beat a professional team, which Saint Laurent have now done twice, and kudos to them.
Where's the gap, right? You mentioned concentration between semi-pro and professional, but between other semi-pro teams and Saint Laurent, where's that gap? How does it exist? Because they're the only ones, not only that the only ones that have done it, but they've done it twice now.
Well, definitely precedent. I mean, Saint Laurent have that they've done it twice, like you said. Concentration is another one. I was personally part of the Saint Laurent team when they were preparing that first one when they beat Halifax, and you gain this confidence and this concentration through preparation, through months of hard work. Third is personnel, like guys on the team that are obviously good enough to beat it, or maybe deserve to be playing professional that aren't there yet or haven't gotten the opportunity. And one of the players that recently played both legs of this game against Forge, Samir Morsli, once told me, you take all of these like these 22 players and you strip them of their jersey and everyone wears a black shirt. If both of those teams look alike and are on the same level, then they probably both deserve to be on that field. And I know it's pretty arbitrary a sentence, but what it means is that Saint Laurent felt at all times that they deserved to be on that field because they were good enough. I think that's where it comes down to a mix of, like we said, like concentration, preparation, and just obviously belief in yourself is what makes it. Obviously, you got to get a bit of luck as well on your end too, but it's the beauty of the cup, right?
Yeah. Kerim, thank you so much for taking the time to speak with us. Let the people know, On S'en Foot, anything else you got going on. Tell the people they can find you.
Of course, so you guys can find us on YouTube, Spotify, Instagram, On S'en Foot, or On S'en Foot Show on Instagram. We cover League One Quebec, League Two Quebec women's and the men's, as well as Supra and the Roses, all in French on our podcast. So yeah, if you guys are interested in that, are French speakers and would like to come check us out. It's mostly jokes more than it is actual coverage, but that's what we're here. It's just four guys that are kicking it and having a good time. Thank you, Elias, for having me on. It's always a pleasure. And guys at the ball is round. You guys are family to me, so really appreciate it.
Of course, man. All love, man. And he's being too modest. These guys know their shit. They're awesome. So give him a check. Give him a look, especially now that the League One, League Two seasons are headed towards the end. Lots of really cool stuff happening, especially in League Two. Lots of promotion, relegation drama. And thank you again, Karim. We will hopefully do this again next year if whoever wins berth into the Canadian Championship.
Looking like a repeat.
Exactly.
Wow.
Yeah, again, huge shout out to Karim Midi. He's fantastic. He's one of my favorite local soccer journalists. The whole show is great, and such an underappreciated element of Canadian football and Quebecois football is right now. Is a semi-pro setup. They've got lots of cool stuff going on. It's the end of the season. They're headed towards the end of the season right now. So if there's ever a time to get invested in the semi-pro hierarchy of Quebecois football, now is that time. Go to your local park, go support your local club, and hopefully something crazy happens, because accidentally the schedule makers cooked, because there's a lot of promotion relegation battles and everyone's playing everybody. It's fantastic. So it'll be great, and definitely check them out. Hadi, you were also there for the first leg. You also saw the second leg. You saw the heartbreaking manner in which that went down. What was your reaction when you see the 94th minute that happens?
Honestly, devastating because you thought that they had the upset, and we were talking about the World Cup. We saw it so many times. Had the World Cup where a team eliminates the other in the extra time of not the extra time, but like the added time of the end of the game, and this is exactly what happened for CS Saint Laurent. Yeah, honestly, they didn't deserve that because for me, being able to play to that level on 180 minutes proves that they deserve to be here and they deserve to go through because of their opponent and who they are. It's Forge FC. Like Forge FC eliminated CF Montreal twice, and CS Saint Laurent was like a few seconds away of eliminating them. Like this is how
Going to
huge it
penalties,
is. Yeah,
not eliminating, going to penalties. Yeah.
yeah, but penalties is seconds, right? So whatever. So they would have won on penalties, okay? Because they have Cantona in goal, okay?
I believe you. You're right.
Hey, Cantona is Marseillais. Of course he would have won.
Shit.
So yeah. Uh, sorry, Andy. I had to say it. No, but honestly, heartbreaking, devastating because they deserve to go all the way and to win this and to eliminate. And we would have seen a potential Saint Laurent versus Supra FC, which would have been amazing, amazing at this level in semifinals of the Canadian Championship. Like that would have been crazy, right? Crazy. Yeah, like three Quebec teams in the semifinals of the Canadian Championship. That
On
would have been
merit
amazing.
too, man.
On merit too. Yeah.
I
Exactly.
was actually at the Rose FC game when with Karim when that game was going on, and I was seeing the boys' reaction, and they were heartbroken, man. They were heartbroken because it felt so close. It felt so close, and they deserved it, like you mentioned, Hattie. But you know what? If there's anything to take out of this, is that these players can compete at the highest at a higher level. They are not just another team to be looked over. And this is huge for Quebec soccer if we look at the bigger picture. Elias,
Yeah,
what do you think?
absolutely. Especially with the way it went into that goal was such a garbage goal too. You're kind of watching it happen like almost in slow motion. You're like, I know, man.
But that's
There's no
Forge
way.
for you, right? That's
I
Forge
know,
for
but
you.
like,
It
there's
always
no way.
happens like
This is
that with
how it
Forge.
ends, man. With this
It's
garbage
always the
goal
same
that like
thing.
it feels super preventable. You're watching it happen, and it's just like, man, this is the stupidest thing I've ever seen in my life, man. Like, if they score like a banger, it feels like a really nice goal. I'm like, you know what? Chapeau, good job.
Yeah.
Shit, that's unfortunate. What a garbage goal, man. A scramble, rebound, whatever, and then it
Yeah, but I
rolls
mean
into the
that
net.
going into that, like the biggest loser of this game, Elias and Hadia, it's got to be Forge FC because yes, they went through the next stage, but you got pushed to the edge, man, against a semi-pro team. You
They're
have
pros. I
to.
don't think they're going to be concerned
They
by
don't
that too
care,
much.
man. They went through,
Look,
right?
the only way that they're going to be inconvenienced is that they couldn't rotate the squad as much as they wanted to, and they have some fixture congestion. That might be mild inconvenience, but they're also like 6 points ahead in the league, so they have a little bit of a safety net too. So, and they have Pacific coming up after this that has not won a game all season. So you know what?
Okay.
They have a free ride after
It
this.
could be worse for them. But what I think right now is that I agree with Karim. I think they're gonna catch OSU. They're gonna end up winning the league, and they're end up gonna go to the Canadian Championship again. And I think that honestly, with this, they're gonna be on the warpath, man. They outplayed Inter Toronto, and then they outplayed Forge, and they're basically saying to themselves, as long as we don't get an MLS team, bring it.
Unless Nick Razaglia has something to say about it and poaches most of their players again next year.
I mean,
for
hey,
the
people
CPL.
people might stay, people might leave, but if people
Yeah.
leave and they don't want to stay in the CPL, guess where they're going, man? They're going
You
back
know
to
the,
Saint Laurent.
what Rocco
So
did
that's the
for
structure.
yeah, what Rocco did for Saint Laurent is something because he built that program, and now they're consistently producing talent.
Yeah.
and it's something that you can tell that the FC Super guys are very proud of this and all. They still have friends, family members there,
They're at the
and
game.
it's a small world. Nick Zaghi said in the press conference, right, guys? Everybody knows everybody.
Yeah.
Everybody knows each other in this world, and they're very, very proud of each other.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. On that bittersweet note,
One second. One second.
I want to say something first. Guys, I don't know if you checked social media, but Andy has launched his new website. Go register. Go read all his analysis. I always forget the name. What's the name?
Upon further analysis.
Upon further analysis. Go register. That's the first thing I did when I saw the post. Go register. Give him some love. Amazing analysis from Andy whenever he has time to write something. It's always super interesting. So go have a look and go register.
Thank you so much, Hadi. I really appreciate it. Yeah, I took the plunge and I was very nervous, but with the support of you guys and everybody that's supporting me, I've decided to take the plunge, and I hope you guys enjoy the reads. It's a long one, but I do enjoy writing them, so I hope you enjoy reading them. But before we exit, just a quick 5-second shout out to some of my friends in Ottawa. Sam Pertosa, that has a basketball academy in Ottawa. As you guys see the shirt that I'm wearing, Family on 3. Elite. They're doing a fantastic job. Anybody likes basketball, lives in the Ottawa area, or knows anybody that is interested, hit them up. They're fantastic. That's it. That's all I want to say.
That'll do it for episode 270 of the Balls Round podcast. Thank you so much, everyone who tuned in, who contributed, who gave their opinions, who listened, watched, joined in live. All of you are infinitely appreciated. The show is free. The podcast is free. It will always be free. However, if you're feeling generous, if you're feeling kind, we do have a Patreon you can subscribe to. It's not just a donation. You also get some really cool goodies. You get early access to our videos. You get practice notes for when we're on training. You get any kind of interviews that we get, media availabilities with players, coaches, front office. That's also there as well. You get all this cool access. If you are unable to contribute monetarily, you can still subscribe for free, and you get a bunch of really cool access anytime we interview a player, coach, front office, all that stuff, one-on-one, exclusive for the Balls Round. It's going there first before it goes wide, so you get a sneak preview at that. And again, right, you guys are infinitely appreciated. We love you. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we will see you next week for episode 271 and a Canadian Classic review, hopefully a positive one, for the Balls Round podcast.
Montreal'S.